Number 3, 2009 Kobe Bryant. Kobe is a guy who has become underrated as the years have gone by because younger basketball fans and some of the basketball fans that consume basketball through the form of analytical data, looking at basketball reference pages, things along that line, those two groups have a really hard time understanding Kobe's basketball reference page. The scoring guards of this era are just a lot more efficient than Kobe, right? And so it's really difficult to kind of reconcile that for a lot of people. But first of all scoring guards from that era were inefficient by modern standards. You got to look at it through that lens. But even if we accept those confines, this version of Kobe was incredibly underrated. From 2008 to 2010, over 67 playoff games, he averaged 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, with 2.5 stocks per game on 57% true shooting. 57%. Even by today's standards, that's pretty good. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just hung a 57% true shooting in this year's final run. Relative to Kobe's era, that was insane. That was efficient for a player of his archetype, especially when you factor in the difficulty of shots that he was taking often in that offense. In that 3-year span, he won a regular season MVP. He won 2 finals MVPs. He was the greatest scorer in the game, but he was also playing far and away the best team basketball of his career in that span, operating as a high-level passer in the triangle offense, while simultaneously being one of the best defenders in the league. He made all-defense, first-team all-defense, all of those 3 years as part of a stretch where he made it 6 times in a row. And he won back-to-back titles, which, again, is an increasingly rare feat in the modern NBA. The only time it's been done over the course of the last decade was LeBron James with, Dwayne Wade, who wasn't the same guy that he was when they first teamed up, but still was very, very good. And then Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, 2 of the top 3 players in the league at the time. It's an unbelievable feat. I'm not going to let the nerds and the kids convince me that Kobe was bad or overrated. I think he's the 3rd best player of all time. I think he's a guy that for whatever reason, people just struggle to reconcile some simple statistical realities. But even when you really dig into it, he was so much better than people give him credit for. Number 2, the second greatest peak of the last 25 years, 2023, Nikola Jokić. I think he's quite simply the greatest offensive player to ever play the game of basketball. He was a Shaquille O'Neal-esque dominant interior scorer. I shouldn't say was, he still is. A Shaquille O'Neal-esque dominant interior scorer that literally cannot be defended one-on-one. He's variance-proof in that he relies on short-range shot making. Shots inside of 10 feet that he can hit well over 60%. Here's how good he was at short-range shot making in 2023. He was 67% on floaters, 67% on hooks, and 74% on jump shots inside of 17 feet. That's the most reliable short-range shot making we have ever seen by a mile. And he combined all of that with being the best passer in basketball. He went absolutely nuclear in that playoff run from 3. He hit 46% of his threes on 4 attempts per game, including a handful of some of the wildest leaning, somber shuffle shots with Anthony Davis smothering him that you'll ever see. He made 52%. He made 14 of them, 52% of his off the dribble jump shots in that playoff run. An unbelievable stretch of shot making. Again, all of this while being the best passer in the sport. And I actually, this is similar to the Kobe thing where another dynamic that I've seen that has been really difficult for people to reconcile is win totals. One of the most common things you'll see people who that are Jokic detractors say is they'll be like, he's never beat a 50-win team. And I think win totals are primarily a factor of depth of talent in the league. There are several teams in the Western Conference last year that if you pick them up and put them on in different years would have won 60 games. But the league is so deep with talent now, it's harder to hit higher win totals. There are years where you go into the West and there are multiple teams that have won in the high 40s that are every bit as good as 55, 58 win teams from years past. In that year, he went through Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo without getting threatened a single time. Without being alongside an all-star, without being alongside an all-defense player. It was him and a bunch of role players, and he literally ran through a gauntlet of star duos. I think he's the best offensive player I've ever seen. He hasn't let go of the crown of the best player in the league since. I think he's had the second best peak that I've seen in the last 25 years.